Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing great. Today I'm actually recording in my daughter's room, so I just kind of thought I would go with the theme of the video, and I just thought, I love her room. I actually feel like her room is so peaceful, so that's why we're here. So today I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about more of a personal type of video. So if you don't like these kind of videos, I'm really sorry, but I just know that when I was going through my own experience, these videos really helped me, and they really spoke to my heart, and I always knew that I wanted to make a video regarding the subject one day. So I just want to start off by saying that this is my experience. This was my diagnosis. This is what I went through before I was able to conceive my daughter. So yeah, everybody's story is different. So okay, so I want to kind of give you a backstory without making this a super long video or a super long story. I'm gonna go ahead and backtrack a few years back to when I first started my menstrual cycle, which was when I was about 12 years old. Now, from the age of between 12 years old and about 21 years old, I've always had an irregular period. And by irregular, I mean that it would come some months I would skip, sometimes it wouldn't come every 28-day cycle. So it was always kind of like erratic. It was like when I got it, when I didn't, I didn't. So that was always something that I was fearful about too. I was like, you know, if that's not regular, like, am I gonna be able to have kids one day, you know? But I didn't really worry about it too much because I was still young. However, it was something that I did talk to my doctor about, and my doctor was like, okay, let's try birth control. And I think at that time, trying birth control, that's a good alternative. However, I was just not responsible enough to take the pill every day, so that specifically did not work for me. Now, fast forwarding till I turned about 21, I started getting my period. Still not every 28-day cycle, but I was getting it every I was getting it every month, which was normal for me, I guess, getting it every month versus skipping months. And so yeah, so it was fine. My period was coming every month, which was great news. And then let's fast forward to right before I got married. I got married when I was 26. So right before I got married, I wanted to try a new method of birth control, and just to kind of see how like my body reacted, because I knew that I was probably gonna have kids in the near future. So I wanted to see if there was something new that I could try besides taking the pill, because that's something that just was not working for me. So I did go ahead and go on the NuvaRing. If you don't know what the NuvaRing is, you can look it up. I'll just kind of give you a brief description. It's kind of like a silicone rubber circle that you insert, and it stays there for 3 weeks. You take it out, replace it. You take it out for a week, and then you replace it with a new one. And so I really liked it because it was super convenient. I never had to remember anything. I never like felt it. Like it was just a really good contraception method. So, but when I got married, I moved to another state, therefore I had no insurance. And so that was kind of the end of that. Because it is really expensive, we were just like, you know what, when we can do it, we will. And so I got married in August, and I want to say about January is when I kind of started noticing some changes. So I noticed that my period was pretty late. It was about 2 weeks late, and I obviously knew I wasn't on contraceptives, so I knew that pregnancy was a possibility, which I did take a pregnancy test and I was not pregnant, so I kind of knew something was off because that hadn't happened to me in years. So I was like, you know what, let me just wait another month, let's see what happens. And so the next month came, and the same thing happened. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to the doctor and check it out, because I know my body and I know that something is off. So I called the doctor's office and I was able to get in. I just did my regular annual. I told the doctor my symptoms and things like that, and she kind of just disclosed it out of nowhere based on my symptoms, which really irritated me because I don't think that that's professional at all. Unless you have clear, like, positive tests, like, I don't think that you should diagnose someone. I don't know if that has happened to anyone else, but anyway, the doctor went ahead and just said, oh, this sounds like PCOS. And I was like, what is PCOS? And she's like, no, I'm not saying that you have it. It just sounds like it. So she did go ahead and say that, and she said that we were gonna do a few tests to determine whether I had it or not. So I did go ahead and have my regular pap smear and a blood test. And so obviously when a doctor tells you something, like a diagnosis of some sort, you're gonna freak out and you're gonna go ahead and go look it up. So that's exactly what I did. I left that office, I looked up PCOS, and of course one of the first things that pops up under PCOS is infertility. And so I completely panicked. As a woman, and for myself, I have always wanted to be a mom. Being a mother has always been something that I've always wanted to be, and I was just heartbroken at that point. I was like, please don't let this happen to me. And so I called my husband and I kind of briefly spoke about it, and he was like, you know what, don't worry. We're really big on our faith, and God is a really big part of our lives. And so, you know, we just had to tell ourselves, he had to really tell me, just, you know, put it in God's hands, and, you know, we're gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. And so I was okay. The doctor, my blood results came back and everything was fine. She didn't detect anything in my blood. However, she said, you know what, I want to do an ultrasound, so let's just kind of rule everything out. So I went back to the doctor's office. I had an ultrasound, and right then and there, she told me, yes, you do have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I just wanted to tell you guys what the actual definition is for it. And so it says here, polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, is a hormonal disorder common among young of reproductive age. Women with PCOS can have infrequent or prolonged menstrual periods or excess male hormone androgen levels. The ovaries may develop numerous small collections of fluid and fail to regularly release eggs. So that's basically what she told me in a nutshell. And mind you, I had already previously looked this up, so as soon as she gave me that diagnosis, I was in uncontrollable tears. I could not stop crying. I just was scared. Fear just crept into my heart, and I was just so scared that I was not going to be able to have a child. And that's the only thing that I could think of. And, you know, she asked me, she said, why are you crying? And I said, because I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to have a child. And she said, no, I don't want you to think that's what I'm telling you. I want you to know that there is a possibility that you can get pregnant. It's just going to be with a little bit of help. And so I was still just traumatized. And, you know, she just basically said, are you planning on getting pregnant anytime soon or anytime in the near future? And I said, well, yes, my husband and I, you know, we wanted to wait until we were about a year married to start trying to have a baby. And she said, okay, you know, like, I really can't tell you when to have a child, but I want to just let you know that the sooner the better. And she did go ahead and let me know that on a positive note, it was great that we catch it in the beginning, because that means that my hormone levels, like, just recently started changing. So it was something that was going to work into my favor. So basically she just said, I want you to start taking prenatal vitamins, and I'm going to start you on metformin. Now, I was already kind of familiar with metformin because I've worked in the medical field for many years, and so I know that it was something to help treat diabetes. And I asked her that. I said, isn't that something to treat diabetes? And she said, yes, but it also regulates your ovulation. So I was like, okay, whatever you say, I'm gonna do. So I went ahead and I picked up the medication and I started it right away. And I want to say this was about May that I started taking the metformin and the prenatal vitamins. And then at this point, I had a conversation with my husband, and he also agreed that we should start trying to have a baby. So I want to say that I was on the medication for about a month and a half, and I kind of felt like something was different. I can't even like pinpoint it. I wish I could, but I just knew something was weird. Like my breasts were hurting and I hadn't gotten my period, and I was peeing a lot. Like I was frequently using the bathroom, and so I was like, something's weird. So I did take a pregnancy test and it said negative, and I just, in that moment, I was like, this is not right. Like I think that I'm pregnant. Like I really felt that I was pregnant. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it another week. Let's see what happens. So the following week was 4th of July. And I remember because we went to a pool party and I had a bathing suit on, and I can't even tell you, like the veins in my chest looked like a road map. It was like they were that prominent, and I told my husband, I'm like, look at my chest, like this is so weird. And he was like, yeah, that is weird. Like, and I was like, I think I'm pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. So the next day came and I went to the store to get another pregnancy test. I went home, I took the pregnancy test, and I was so anxious. It was such a crazy moment for me because I was like, I know that I am, and if this says negative, something's wrong. So I took the pregnancy test and I saw those 2 beautiful little pink lines, and I can't even explain the emotion that came across me. I just, first and foremost, I thank God, because I had so much fear and I was so scared, and I just knew that this blessing came from Him, and I was just so happy. I was so ecstatic. Like I can't even express to you the emotion that I had. And so I did go ahead and surprise my husband, and I let him know that we were pregnant, and it was such a beautiful moment for us. Like we were, I don't know, if you're a mom or you're gonna be a first-time mom, only you know that feeling. And it was just amazing. We just felt like we were on top of the world, and it was great. And so I did go ahead and call my doctor right away, let her know that I was pregnant, and what I should do as far as taking the metformin, and if I should discontinue it, whatever the case may be. So I did go back into the doctor's office, had some blood work done. They did do an ultrasound. Baby was still too small to see because I was only about 5 weeks when I went to the doctor. So I found out that I was pregnant when I was actually 3 weeks pregnant. So that was kind of crazy. So yeah, they did blood work, and then I got the results from my blood work, and they told me that I had low progesterone. Again, fear crept in, and I was really scared of losing the baby. Now, if you're diagnosed with PCOS, they also let you know that you are at a higher risk for having a miscarriage, which is really scary. You know, being pregnant is probably one of the most beautiful things, but it's also one of the most scary things, because miscarriage is just something that cannot be controlled. So I was really afraid, and I went to YouTube. And I looked up videos on PCOS testimonies, successful pregnancies, anything that could just fill me with joy and just, you know, take that fear away, and just know that there are other women that are out here going through this and they have success stories. So don't live in that dark place. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here today to just talk to you guys about that, and to just be that one person that gives you that security that everything is going to be okay. Again, I want to just disclose that this is my story. This was my success story on having my beautiful daughter. I know that, and it really pains my heart that it is harder for other women. It really does. But we are all here together on this journey with success stories. And I just want to let you know, if you're out there having those fears or having those doubts, hold on to hope and hold on to your faith. Sometimes we don't have control, and that's hard to face, the fact that we don't have control over things that happen to us in our lives. Beautiful things come out of ugly situations. So yeah guys, that's my story on how I successfully gave birth to my daughter even though I was diagnosed with PCOS. I really hope that you guys enjoy this type of video. Let me know if you like these type of personal videos. I'm not really one to tell my business out there like that, but again, this is something that's really near and dear to my heart, and if I can get through to one girl or one woman out there going through this, it would just make me feel amazing. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.